What does it take to rise from the ashes of betrayal and bloom into something unstoppable? In the heart of Willow Park, under the shade of ancient oaks, my life unraveled in a single moment. My husband, David, stood there, his laughter sharp as a blade, mocking me in front of strangers. "Look at you, Clara," he sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "Frumpy, boring, stuck in your little world. You'll never be anything more." His words stung, not because they were true, but because I had believed in him, in us, for so long. That day, as the park's vibrant life buzzed around, children giggling, couples strolling, I felt invisible, reduced to the shadow of his cruelty. But something inside me sparked. I vowed that his words would not define me. The months that followed were a blur of quiet determination. I woke before dawn, the ache of his mockery fueling my resolve. I started small, lacing up old sneakers and jogging through the park, my breaths heavy but defiant. Each step was a rebellion against the version of me David had painted. I signed up for a community art class, something I'd always loved but abandoned for him. My hands, once trembling with self-doubt, began to wield brushes with purpose, creating vivid canvases that spoke of pain and hope. I joined a local book club, where I found voices that echoed my own, women who had been underestimated, yet refused to stay small. Slowly, I was stitching together a new Clara, one who laughed louder, stood taller, and dreamed bigger. David noticed the changes, but only on the surface. He'd scoff when I came home with paint-splattered clothes or lingered too long at the gym. "What, you think you're some artist now? A fitness freak?" he'd say, his eyes narrowing. But I didn't argue back. I let his words fall like leaves, weightless and fleeting. I was no longer living for his approval. Instead, I enrolled in a business course, learning to channel my creativity into something tangible. I started a small online shop, selling my artwork, bold, colorful pieces that told stories of resilience. Orders trickled in, then flooded. My little world, as he called it, was growing, and I was at its center, unafraid. 6 months after that day in the park, I stood in the same spot, but everything was different. My hair was styled, my clothes chosen with care, but it was my confidence that turned heads. I had just sold my first major piece to a local gallery, and my online shop was thriving. I wasn't just surviving, I was flourishing. That afternoon, David approached me, his face a mix of shock and something softer regret, perhaps. "Clara," he said, his voice low, almost pleading. "I didn't know. I didn't see this in you." He gestured vaguely at me, as if trying to grasp the woman I had become. "I'm sorry. I was wrong. Can we try again?" I looked at him, the man who had once been my world, and felt nothing but calm. His words no longer held power over me. "David," I said, my voice steady, "you saw what you wanted to see, but I saw what I could become." I turned and walked away, the park alive with the sounds of life, birds singing, leaves rustling, my heart beating strong. I didn't need his validation anymore. I had found my own. The park became my sanctuary, a place where I reclaimed myself. I continued to paint, to run, to build my business. I mentored other women, sharing the lessons I'd learned. That pain can be a catalyst, that mockery can be a mirror reflecting your potential. My story spread, not because of David's cruelty, but because of what I did with it. People saw my art, read my blog, and reached out, inspired to rewrite their own narratives. I wasn't just Clara anymore. I was a beacon for those who felt unseen. Months later, I heard David had moved away, chasing a life that no longer included me. I wished him well, but I didn't look back. The park, once a place of humiliation, was now my canvas, my track, my stage. I stood there, surrounded by the beauty of my own making, and realized that the greatest victory was not in proving him wrong, but in proving myself right. I had become unstoppable, not because of his mockery, but because I chose to rise. And in that choice, I found a truth worth living for. The only limits we have are the ones we accept,